all about her past, and Arya started having interesting dreams. When she woke up, some sort of weird portal opened up inside the fire, and she ended up going in before she can consult with anybody in the party. Uh, Kyle refused to join. He knew where this portal led, and he had to prevent the rest of you from going. But he did take over protecting the cubs. Uh, you met a woman along a road in this dark and cold. I've been wild unless you figured that out. Uh, you found yourself wandering into a town and started learning exactly where you should probably be going based on Arya's dream. Uh, that there was this battle in a place, Bright Rock Gorge, which seems to be what her dream was telling her about. He picked up some snacks for the road, headed in a northeasterly direction, and found yourself at a walled city in front of a castle of bones, which is in turn in front of a massive volcano, the other side of which supposedly the gorge exists. And that is where we stopped off. So, what would you guys like to do?
Well, I think Run would like to just keep an eye out on things.
We did agree to go around the city. Not going to check anything out.
Yeah, there is definitely a road that goes around the city. You don't have to actually cut through it if you don't want to. But roll perception checks if you're keeping an eye on things.
Alright.
Jesus, Run. Jesus, Taryn.
I've apparently
Yeah, I'm actually rolling good.
I'm apparently incredibly lagged out on roll 20. Because I don't see anything. What did you guys roll?
Well, Orange just got a natural 20.
Aria got a 14.
Run's got a 21.
All right. So as you start moving your way around the city, are you heading north or east around the city? First of all.
Well, that depends on who's leading.
Probably the
Are
road.
we sticking up front?
You said the gorge to the north or the east?
The city is okay. So you've got a volcano. The gorge is on the other side of the volcano. In front of the volcano is a castle. In front of the castle is the city you're currently on the western side of.
Okay.
So it's basically
doesn't
north
really matter.
and potentially east. So yeah. Either way will potentially get you there.
Aria will head north.
Alright.
Unless the rest of the party grab her and say, no, we're going east.
So as you head north, you do see a small, like, kind of handcart wagon being brought towards a gate into the city. Someone traveling from the north. Just what looks like to be an Eladrin, tall, elven, blue skin, blue hair. And they kind of stop and seem to appraise the group of you coming by.
Aria offers a friendly wave.
the elf just kind of looks you guys over and starts to proceed into the city through the gate.
Run watches the elf as they walk along.
You can see that the city, looking through the gate since you're watching the elf, the city is actually kind of bustling at the moment. From your perspective, it still feels like nighttime, but the activity, because, it's all dark and everything like that, but the activity level is more like, a daytime sort of activity level. You can see lots of people going about their business. You even see what looks like some kind of banners up on the sides of buildings that people are kind of erecting, and like stretching out the, I guess garlands would be the proper word, with little decorations on them. The people are much like the kind of peoples you were seeing back when you were in that little town. Though you also let's see if I described all of them. You see pony or small horse type people. You see some satyrs. You see Eladrin. You don't see much in the way of any more of those goat folk. It looks like maybe that goat folk might have been an anomaly. You see more satyrs than that, though. There's some very dark-skinned elves. Don't exactly look like drow, but, are at least as dark, or if not darker. Like, charcoal skin and very tall ears. Like, ears that are much taller than the normal elves. What other creatures are in here? You do also see some other, figures of, women who are, a bit bent over and look rather old, much like the woman you met on the road. Oh, yes. You also see a few what look like wolf folk standing bipedal, with their faces outstretched and all like that, and giving off every impression of being like the canine equivalent to a tabaxi. Remember, I'm having difficulty seeing any. I don't know what's going on with Roll20 for me tonight, but I'm having difficulty at showing me anything. So if you rolled anything or posted anything in Roll20, please let me know.
No, I didn't roll anything. It's just a shit post.
Okay. So you guys are just going to continue on to the north?
Yep.
Maria's going to look to Run and kind of whisper, like, why are they hanging stuff like that? She kind of gestures to the garlands and the banners.
So are they hitting like pinatas?
Like stuff for a street festival, or maybe not a street festival. Like I, the player, would think that it was a festival, but I don't think Aria knows what a festival is really.
Okay, so are we talking like De las Muertes or Fats Tuesday?
I don't know.
Which would be my
As
directed
a
toward,
player, sorry, as the GM, I have no idea what either of those look like. Sadly.
What,
Dia de
you
los
know, like-
Muertos is the Day of the Dead. It's the sugar skulls.
No, I mean I know that vaguely, but I've never actually seen what it looks like. I just kind of have read about it. I don't know. So I really don't know how to describe based on that information.
Well, you said when they were hanging garlands, like I imagine ropes stretched from
Yeah.
street to across the streets and their lanterns and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that would invoke
and
the
you-
image of a festival.
Yes, and that's right. Something else that Run would say. You'd probably see some gnome-sized people also wandering around. They're wearing colorful hats and offering people what looks like some kind of party favor.
So
And you said that so we are in a different realm.
Yeah.
mhm.
And you're just passing by because you said you were watching the elf go in there, so that's just what you see from looking
Mhm.
down the street as you're passing by it.
And Aria asked Ron, why are they doing that? Looking at them doing all that.
It's
Aria looks and kind of tilts her head, like, a party? Like, and she kind of thinks, like, oh, like in my stories?
ooh, this one looks like it'd be a real barn burner here.
Why would you
Might be.
want to burn a barn?
It's just an expression. Come, let's go. And he starts running into the city.
Well, that's apparently what Run's doing. What do the rest of you guys wish to do?
Aria's following Run
I'm gonna look over at
because
the
she's
other two.
scared.
Yeah, I'm gonna look over at the other two. Let's make sure those two don't get themselves lost.
There's actually 3 there because
guess.
Mull's there too. Mull's like, okay, Fitz, are we going in there?
Guess I'm following.
If you're trying to say anything, you are muted. You know.
Sorry, my mic went to sleep. I unmuted myself. I guess it was asleep. But like I said, if it were up to me, I would let the cub wander off into the jungle to die. But it's not like we have a choice at this point.
Mull kind of nods. Yes, don't want Cub to die. Let's go after and protect them. So, as you walk into the city, you are greeted by some interesting smells in the air. Some kind of fragrant spice, possibly more than one, is just drifting on the air right now, as those little gnomish folk are just kind of wandering around, uh, helping to put up more decorations and like just handing things out to people. You see, one of them is actually carrying around a little tray with like drink cups on it, and is just like offering it to various people who, keep going from looking very gloomy and depressed to suddenly perking up and looking like they're in a cheerful mood as they take a drink or eat a little bit of food that's being offered to them. Oops, that's my alarm. I have to go put something in the fridge. Be right back.
All right. The player part of me says don't trust the food, but I don't know. Aria wouldn't know that.
Same.
I mean, like, I don't know much about the Fae in the stories, but I know, like, nothing is free.
Well, of course, Arya knows how I'm on the stories of the Fae and like Celtic mythology, and one of the things is you eat the food, you never get to return.
The thing about the Feywild is don't trust the Feywild. Anything in the Feywild.
Okay, sorry about that. I was just putting something away in my fridge.
Jesus.
Do you need me to repeat the description?
Hmm,
Might be
I'm good.
helpful.
All right.
Okay.
So, you kind of walk into the, through this gate that you have in the city, and you see more of those gnomish type people kind of running around, and they seem to be putting up more decorations. Uh, there's an interesting spice smell drifting through the air. And you can observe those gnomish people also, in addition to putting up decorations, carrying around little trays with what looks like these little drinks they're just handing out to people. Most of the other people look a bit gloomy, a little downtrodden, but every time you see somebody, like, take a sip or, eat a nibble of something that's being handed to them by these little folk, you see them suddenly perk up and look more joyful.
The people who were eating things, whenever they eat it, they perk up and become more joyful.
Yes. Seems to be having a very much mood enhancing effect on them. And if you're rolling anything, you're gonna have to tell me the result because I can't. My roll 20 seems to be frozen, and um, I don't know what's going on with
You
it.
tried turning it off and back on again.
Several times, but let me completely reopen a sheet, like, new sheet. That might help.
Okay.
So
Does everyone have their character sheets saved to Avery?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't.
We can always roll
I don't
manually,
think
D&D
so.
honestly.
Beyond.
Yeah, Jasper is only on Roll20.
I can't afford to have books in 3 different places. Pay $50 a book 3 times.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
if
I
I
think
was
I
to make
got a.
Jasper on D&D Beyond, I just wouldn't be able to have some of the stuff that she has.
That's why all my characters are in the campaigns. All the other DMs on the tavern server have also generously opened up for everyone to use.
Nice, but not all of us have that benefit. So
No.
I've been on Roll20 since 2015. It's really hard to, like, once you start buying into a platform, like, to just be like, oh well, I'm gonna go do it over here now, because that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
D&D really needs to have like a code or something to where if you buy a book on one platform, then you can at least like transfer it over to another platform, like some sort of like code or something whenever you buy it, so you can put it in somewhere else to prove that you bought it,
A digital
Almost
book
like-
shouldn't be $50.
right?
Though I was looking at on Roll20, they only seem to be like $30 there.
All $50. I just bought Tasha's and Wild Amount today. Although I'm disappointed because Wild Amount was supposed to have, from what I gathered, the Blood Hunter in it, and it does not. So that was disappointing.
Like I can only speak for myself.
yeah,
I
I think it
myself.
might
I
only
would
be
pay
on D&D
$30.
Beyond.
Yeah, it is, because it's like
I think it's
something that
still
Wizards would never
testing.
publish.
Yeah, like I can only speak for myself. I would pay $30 for like a physical book. I'm not going to pay $30 for something digital. That
Mhm.
That's why he didn't include it in Wild Mounts, because the creator was still working out the bugs for it and did an update a while back, which caused a complete
Wizards
alteration
wouldn't
of
put
that.
it. Wizards has put out a statement that they wouldn't publish that class because it doesn't fit their
Yeah.
their stuff.
Oh, that's the other reason, I guess. Yeah. Which is disappointing, but he still has it there for everyone to use for free on D&D Beyond. So
Okay, so So as the party is getting started, Run will cast Mage Hand and help some of the gnome folks with their decorations.
They turn around and start talking to you in Sylvan. Do you speak Sylvan?
Hold on a second. Let me double check. Character sheet. Common gnome. Unfortunately, no. I chose 3 languages that would be helpful to his artifact retrieval, which is Abyssal, Chaltese, and Grung.
You can tell the grunts are going to be eaten by Fitz before they're eaten.
Uh, I assume that I'm still following a run and I'm watching, so I'm gonna say hello in Elvish, see if they understand that, and play translator.
Actually, they
Yes.
do.
I can't.
They do speak Elvish. It's heavily accented, and one of them stops what they're doing and smiles up at you. It's like, somebody. Oh, so you do speak this language? Hello, stranger. You don't seem to be from around here.
We're not. Aria confirms.
I
Neither
Run will.
are we. We are just here on the behest of our king, because this land is currently without a proper leader. So we're trying to help cheer people up.
Run will ask or speak in Gnomish. So what's with the party?
It is not a party, really. Well, you speaking in Gnomish?
Yes.
Okay. The gnome-looking person actually gives you a weird.
Rhea will translate. It's like, oh, they're on the behalf of their king, apparently to cheer the people up.
Well, cheering up. Well, and then all of a sudden, a flash of lights just emit from his hands and start dancing.
You do get the attention of some of the other regular passersby, but the little gnomish type people, who don't apparently speak gnomish but do speak Elvish, step back and clap. Those carrying around trays of food kind of like set them aside to start clapping for you, and seem to be cheering. And those of you who speak, let's see, most of them are responding in Sylvan, but the one that was talking Elven says, "Oh, that is a fantastic display."
Rhea looked around like, they like it.
And Run kind of thinks for a moment. And then all of a sudden, with minor illusion, as dancing lights start dancing or start swirling and twirling to the music.
You hear more laughs of approval from the small folk, but again, you don't seem to be doing too much impressive of most of the people that are passing by. Most of them are some of them are just that have been supposedly cheered up already are joining in on the clapping, but the rest of the people that are just kind of going about their daily business don't seem to be very impressed. The one that you were speaking to, Arya, kind of like turns to you and says, "Perhaps what are you doing here exactly? You don't seem to be people that would normally be in this at the dark region."
Arya kind of taps her toes like, we're on a quest.
Oh, what kind of quest?
Well, there's something we gotta find. A fish quest.
Quest. Well, if you do not want to discuss it, that's fine. I hope you good luck in such quests. And another one of the small folk comes by and offers, is like holding up a tray with a few drink glasses in it. There's some sort of like white liquid with a little bit of something sprinkled into it, like some sort of brownish thing. And no, apparently I can't see anybody typing or anything. So if anybody's doing anything emotively, they'll have to speak it out loud because I can't read anything on Roll20. Stupid friggin' Roll20 tonight.
I'm not trying to send that to the chat. I was trying to close it down because it was expanded, and every time I clicked on it, for some reason, it was sending it to the chat, even though I was pressing the little info icon thing. Yeah, that was my bad.
Maria's going to decline the drink with a thank you though, but Daddy says I'm not allowed to drink till I'm 100.
The little person like kind of blinks at you, and like the other one, they kind of like both shrug and then moves away. Like starts going towards the rest of the party with the drinks.
Yeah. Run will pull out a little flask and take some of it, and after he makes sure no one's looking, he pours it into the flask.
Are you attempting to take one of the glasses and pour it into your flask?
Yes.
Is it a standard narrow aperture flask? How are you getting the liquid in there?
One of my alchemy bottles.
Okay. It's actually a fairly viscous liquid, so attempting to pour it like this is going to end up in a lot of disaster. It's very difficult to pour into something so narrow without a funnel.
Sleight of hand check, dexterity check.
Well, let's do that at disadvantage because again, this is
you're obviously not a lab tech then, because I used to do that all shit like that all the time.
Really.
Yeah,
okay.
Pouring stuff into a test tube. Yeah,
pouring a not quite liquid into a test tube.
About a stool sample into a little tiny tube for testing.
Okay.
If
the lab tech says that that's possible, then I will agree with the lab tech.
You have to take it really, really slow and like do it under a hood and all that. But I would think that would be a dex check.
Okay.
To see if you could get it in there.
I thought I heard somebody roll. So what was the outcome? Because again, I cannot see them.
Yes, you told me to roll at disadvantage, and somehow DDB had rolled 3 times.
What was the first roll?
First roll was 19, second roll was 21.
Okay. Yeah, 19. In spite of the thickness of the liquid, you do manage to get a sample of it without spilling it all over yourself.
And he'll pocket it for later.
Okay. So the guy you were talking to seems to be going back to the task of decoration. Are you assuming that you were done speaking with them?
Okay. Maria's gonna look to Run, kind of like, so what now?
Hmm. Well, what now did they say to you?
Well, I would have translated everything to you.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Arya is basically spot to spot translating, so you don't actually have to ask her.
let's see. The land is pretty much leaderless, but the king is throwing a party to cheer people up. Is that correct?
Would
Sounds
you
about right. But I think it was the Gnome King
the
or
king
whatever
of
their
these
race was.
gnomish people apparently was here to cheer the people of this land up. Is basically what you got from the gist from that conversation.
Hmm. Perhaps we should go see the this king. Get some information.
Arya nods, and says, it's like, okay. And she's going to look to the gnome and say, excuse me,
Yes.
my friend here, would like to know if we can meet your king,
Well,
if that's possible. That is.
he's currently at the town hall, since it's not like anybody is going to be stepping foot inside Utopia's castle. Just because she is away right now doesn't mean she won't take revenge on people who are not supposed to be in there. And you're directed down, basically further down the long street.
All right, Arya's gonna smile and say thank you, and look around like, it's like, shall we go see the king?
As good a plan as any.
I mean, I guess before they walk off, or as they're walking off, Fitz would pick up one of the little cups, probably drink it if it doesn't smell offensive.
Uh, he Fitz likes everything by nature. I'm trying to think if she's ever had anything like this before. Uh, Give me the normal Constitution check for things you haven't eaten yet.
Save or a check? Yeah, I guess
A check
is a
since you're
save, right?
since you're sniffing. So since you're sniffing at it right now, you didn't just drink it all the way down.
Oh, I got the same. I got the same thing.
What'd you get?
A 10.
It smells unusual. You smell. You pick up like some substance. It smells a bit like milk. Smells a bit like eggs, and there's definitely a spice involved here, and maybe a touch of rum or bourbon.
So,
It's
like
hard to
eggnog.
tell. It's eggnog, yeah.
I don't like eggnog in real life.
I
I've
seem to
never had
remember
it.
that. I love eggnog, but only at certain times of the year.
I mean, I drink it more now than I used to, but it's still not my favorite. But yeah, I mean, Cat God says she has to drink it, so she's drinking it.
Whenever it's in the store, I have to have at least 1/2 gallon.
That I've
Done.
really liked, and it's expensive. It comes from some creamery that's like a local creamery. It tastes like melted ice cream with seasonings,
Oh,
but
that
like all
sounds
the other crap
Am I
good.
is
the only weirdo that's
horrible.
ever had it?
Sounds like it's missing one ingredient.
The rum?
That's it.
Well, I mean, I put rum in it. I don't not put rum in it, but without the rum, it basically tastes like melted vanilla ice cream with like nutmeg and like stuff.
Which makes sense because some of the vanilla ice cream is made with eggs. But
It's
yeah,
not offensive. She's drinking it.
yeah, it's definitely not offensive.
Okay, so we are being pointed down the road to.
Town hall, basically in the middle of this city sort of thing, or at least in the middle, down the end of this particular road. It's hard to tell.
All right, even though Run doesn't understand what they are saying, he is going to head in the direction that they're pointing.
All right. And you pass by more people. More of the street is definitely decorated. There's actually some people that you've coming across that are now playing music similar to what was being played back in that tavern that you went to, and that are just kind of dancing in the street. It's like the further in you go, the more likely you're to see people. Because it looks like the people around here are just not generally happy, but whatever's going on here is aimed to make them different, to cheer them up, make them joyful.
So we're in Valaki.
Not really.
We're in Fargo.
So you get to.
Okay, so
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just talking.
So after a bit of like observing these things, you manage to get to the town hall, which is currently open. You do see a couple of snow white, what look to be minotaurs, like kind of standing guard outside. And they both have basically garlands draped around down their necks made of some sort of red weeds that have been twisted together. They kind of like look you guys over for a moment, and one of them puts out a hand, uh, and says in Sylvan, "Does anyone speak? None of you speak Sylvan again. Wasn't that right?
No,
Like it was
no.
Elven that you guys had to talk in."
Mhm.
Yeah. So he says something in Sylvan.
Yeah, Elvish primordial.
Yeah, wrong
Ari's going to say
character.
Ari's going to say in Elvin's like, "I'm sorry, I don't understand."
Oh, Elvin, all right. What you strange? This guy apparently doesn't speak very good Elven, so he's speaking very slowly and purposefully to try to get his meaning out. Stranger, what bring you here?
Well, my friend, and she points to Rune, wants to meet the king. If that's all right.
Oh,
We don't want to call.
he kind of like stares you down with some big eyes, and kind of wrinkles his brow a bit. Why meet
Aria
king?
smiles. Why not?
You have reason? Need reason see king.
We just want to say hello. Is that not reason enough?
Roll
We've
persuasion
never
check.
met a king before. Oh shit. Let's see.
To go.
12.
Wonderful.
Ooh. Then he kind of like rubs at his head, looks at the other one, and he kind of like shrugs and moves his hand away. Go in, king like people.
Aria's
Strange.
going to smile. Aria will smile brightly and thank them. And looks around like, all right, there we go.
And you find yourself entering into a large hall that seems to have been set up for a feast. The smell of roasted meats is filling your nose, and with the various tables laid out with foods of various descriptions, what looks like turkeys and roast ham and breads, and a table filled with desserts. It's almost as if Fitz has found yourself in heaven.
And also, for the
at
first
the-
time, you see the.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and for the first time, they see the weasel pop into existence again, with his little nose up in the air.
And at the at the center of it all is what looks to be a human. He's got his back to you, and he's wearing what looks to be long, flowing red robes. And on his, well, not exactly shoulder because it's a little big, but seemingly draped around his neck is what looks to be some kind of small dragon of green and red coloring. It's just kind of hanging out there.
Is it a fairy dragon?
No, actually, it is a dragon. But it's not like any you've ever seen before.
Would it be a sort of dragon?
Not exactly. Well, it was at one point. But the man turns around and smiles at you through his long white beard. Ha ha ha. For new friends, it seems.
Is he speaking in common?
Yes, he is, actually.
Oh.
Totally. They'd be mad.
Bastard always
Somebody-
brings me coal.
That's what I was about to ask. Was somebody naughty growing up?
No.
Ron kind of tilts his head, trying to place where he's seen this man before.
And her tail's kind of wagging a bit.
Ah. See, you are here from the material plane. Welcome. And the little dragon, well, not exactly little, it's more like a small dog / large cat sized. Kind of blinks its eyes out at you. Kind of burp a little bit, and you again detect the scent of that spice that you were smelling up and down the streets.
Excuse me, sir. What particular kind of creature is that?
Oh, this is a very special familiar for a very dear friend of mine. I am just looking after her for a moment. She got kicked out of the material plane right for the moment.
One kind of raises a brow and
Much like, and he gestures at your weasel. Much like your friend there. You don't think that it's just floating around in nothingness when he gets quote-unquote killed, do you? He just goes back to his home plane and has to wait around for a while for you to summon him back. Possibly with your patron.
But what happens if he dies on his home plane?
Well, that's a different matter, isn't it? He kind of like eyes you as if you're a threat to the poor little, the poor dragon on his neck.
I just hold my hands up. I'm not going to kill it. I was just curious.
Ron will. Can I pet it?
Maria nods agreement and tries to give the
She thinks
puppy eyes.
for a moment. I think she would enjoy that, and I don't think that her master would mind too much a few pets. Or maybe not. He thinks again. He thinks about that again. If anything happens to her, there will be a very angry dwarf woman after you.
And
Why would
Right.
we hurt it? Or her?
Well, you can pet her a little bit. Just be careful.
Maria's gonna go over there and offer her hand like you would offer your hand to a dog or a cat.
The little dragon kind of sniffs a bit. And as you're doing that, he kind of like looks around at the others in the group, looks over at Jasper and Maul and Fitz. And what about you, Fine? Oh, and Irba. Did Irba say something? Ah,
Torn.
God damn it. And Torin, and what about you, fine folks? And the dragon's head butts your hand, by the way.
Aria begins to pet the dragon slowly, carefully.
I'm just here to make sure that this one points to Aria doesn't get in any trouble.
So I take it you then, and he looks directly at you, Arya, are the reason you've been drawn in here. I imagine that your
Arya not.
friends were pulled along as a result.
Well, I had a dream, and and the portal opened, and I agreed to do it, so I went through. I didn't know they were gonna follow me. Arya kind of
Dream.
blushes.
It must have been from the Queen. She is discorporated at the moment, and as a result, can only really talk to people through their dreams. I am merely
not.
here to keep this land a little bit protected in case some of her enemies decide to take advantage while she's away. But I know there are some pockets of it too. I like to make the people around here happy. For that is what I do. I like to bring joy to people. And speaking of which, please help yourselves to the feast.
About how long has it been since we've actually eaten any food?
Other
Uh,
than berries.
I don't actually know. Other than Fitz, who ate a frog. I don't think I think it's been a while since any of you guys have eaten.
We're probably starving at this point.
I wouldn't
Aria's just
know.
gonna take a whole ham and sit down with the dragon. Offer the dragon a bite of ham, take a bite. Go back and forth.
I think the dragon would like that. Oh, I'm actually seeing things on Roll20 again. Woo!
Hey.
Finally! For an hour.
Yeah, I can see Fitz's comment. Oh God, does Squeak tell Kale's patron all the secrets? That's troubling.
But does Squeak tell Kale's patron about being under Nana's skirt?
I'm gonna have to make somebody roll again to see if they go crazy from that. But no. I guess the good question would be: is anyone at the in the group not sit down to eat or anything of that nature? Because everyone else seems to be pretty quiet, and so I'm like trying to make sure that I know what everyone else wants to do here or is doing here.
Well, I mean, I haven't really spoken the language for like 90% of the things we've talked to, so I
Yeah,
don't
no one
really have
has.
much to do.
Well, he's speaking in common, so you can speak to him.
But yeah, and that's fine. But like I said, I've been quiet because I can't do anything.
I've been translating. And Aria's been translating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still not,
I tried. I'll sit down and eat.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
obvious that Fitz would eat.
And it's delicious food in here. It's not even it's like Even on Ollaras, there are. It's not called Christmas by any means, but there are like the winter feasting festivals, and this food is reminiscent of any of the like the best feasts any of you have had at such a festival. There's usually like a week of feasting at the start of winter.
It's Yule.
Basically, yeah.
Yay!
You guys should feel at home then.
So, since the Queen saw fit to draw some poor unfortunate souls over here to do her bidding, do you know what that is? Why exactly she wanted you here?
Aria looks up and says, "He said I could help him. So we are sent to find a horn."
He thinks for a moment and strokes his beard. I see. Yes. I take it you were heading to Bright Rock Gorge then?
Aria nods.
To face the Grush. It has taken over that region.
The who to what?
The people have been
What the hell's a grush?
referring to it as the Grush. Some sort of monster that is both fey and shadow, seeing that that is what two of the regions that the Queen resides in. It governed from the and well, seems to have taken root, so to speak. There's been some undead wandering in that region ever since, and while the guards can make good short work of anything leaving the gorge, no one has successfully returned from the gorge as of yet.
Run will just face palm and says, "More dead."
Your favorite.
That's what Torin's gonna lean in and be like, so you don't have any information, numbers, fighting tactics, anything to help us?
From what I understand, the Grush is a single being, but capable of affecting bodies of some kind and sending them on walkabout, shall we speak. Now, again, those are
The hive mind.
possibly. Those undead don't seem to be particularly powerful, but I imagine that a whole bunch of them would, well, be a bad day. Are you willing to face this, or shall I help you return home? He asks as you guys are like midway through your meal.
Aria kind of looks to the half-eaten ham and says, I said I'd help, and Papa always said I have to follow my word. It's given."
True, but what about the rest of you? Is it your intent to face down this creature, or would you prefer that I help you return back to where you belong?
Well, while we're here, I might as well do some research. Have I lost anyone?
I had to disconnect because sometimes my Discord disconnects for me, so disconnect, reconnect. I wasn't getting it.
Repeat what you said. I had a 4-year-old talking to me.
Aw. Basically, he is asking everybody in the party if they would rather take up this cause, take up this quest, or for him to just open a portal up to where you came from and send you back.
I think I would be more willing to continue if I knew exactly what was going on. So all this mumbo jumbo about horns and helping someone, I signed on to help in Chult because it was benefiting me by looking for my family that's missing.
Your
Why am
family
I
is missing.
here?
And he now fixes his eyes on you, Fitz. Maybe I can help.
Been home for the past, oh geez, I don't know how long she's been gone, but she's been gone for several years, out to the mainland. And when I came back, the Chult was overrun with undead, and my clan was nowhere to be found.
He nods.
Like, I have a vested interest in helping my homeland. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like I said, if someone would explain to me what I'm doing here.
Well, from what I understand, before the Queen went crazy and has temporarily died, uh, several key battles were fought here in these lands between one of the summer lands and here in Night and Wild. Uh, her son happened to be a champion of one of these battles, of many of these battles, but in the battle of a Bright Rock Gorge, he was badly hurt